Hey, is your voice filled with cracking or breaking or straining song after song, gig after gig, studio take after studio take, and you just feel like you're stuck? Well, the problem isn't the fact that your voice can't hit the notes and that you just weren't meant to sing those types of songs. It's really just in a matter of no one really told you the actual truth of how to warm up your voice. Hey, my name is Isaiah Harris. I'm a vocal coach, and my average students start singing higher, pain, strain, and tension-free in just as little as 2 weeks, and adds nearly a full octave to their vocal range in just as little as 2 months, be they my complete and total beginner students all the way up to my professional gigging, touring musician students as well. And in today's video, I'm going to show you my proven, tried and true vocal warm-up routine to get a buttery smooth voice so that you can finally sing the songs you wanted to sing the way you want to sing them. All right, let's get down to business here. So for us to really understand how to make the voice have that buttery smoothness that we always want, we really need to understand first the basics of what causes the breaks and cracks and strains and the key principles behind that. And then we're going to go into my little exercise routine and really show you how to nail this thing really, really well. So really, the reason why the voice ends up having the cracks, the breaks, and the strain is because you have a lack of resonance inside of the muscles of your voice, because you want to think of the voice kind of like a rubber band to where it's stretching like, oh, to all these various different ranges of notes that you would be trying to hit. And the thing is, when there's a lack of resonance, this rubber band essentially goes, and it keeps snapping back and forth again and again and again and again. And when we don't build that resonance, the snapping is what leads to the cracks, the breaks, the strain, feeling like you don't have any control over your voice and that your voice just has control over you. And also, this can be a big reason too why I have a lot of students tell me that they feel their voice is so inconsistent to where they'll sound one way when they're practicing at home, they'll sound a totally different way when they're on stage versus one way when they're just singing in the car versus when they're in the studio. And another way to really think about resonance is, if you've ever heard someone say the saying that, oh, I'm not a singer, but man, I sure do love singing in the shower. Well, part of the reason why people say that is because the shower is a naturally very resonant acoustic environment to where your voice vibrates all across the walls of that shower. And now a good singer with good resonance and a buttery smooth voice is going to be able to produce that type of sound in any type of environment that they are in. So we're now going to go over what my key resonance building buttery smooth exercises are. So the first thing here is going to be a nice, plain and simple hang slide. So you're going to make the hang sound like hang, like hanger. And we're just going to start at, lower part of our range, and we're going to work our way up to the absolute highest part of our range that we can get to. So it'll look something like this, and it doesn't really matter what the starting note is, but just, somewhere where you feel it's just like the lower end of what you can sing and go, hang. And did that back and forth, up and down, till I'm completely and totally out of air. So the other thing with this too that I want to point out is you'll notice that I had a nice little vibe, or like my teeth are showing on the hang. You see that hang. You really, really want to be able to see the teeth of this hang, because it's going to help the resonance to go out. So with this, you basically want to have the center of your tongue at the roof of your mouth stuck there pretty much like peanut butter. Whereas and it stays in that exact same spot during the entire slide. And also, the tip of your tongue should be resting right behind the bottom teeth, like a hang, just like that, okay? So let's try that again. And you'll notice in that case, I just did it like, in one single octave there. For where we're at right now in the exercise, it doesn't matter like how far or how high it is that you go. We're just messing around, just getting the basics of really that hang. So let's try it one more time. This time I'm going to go a little bit higher. But like I said, free flow with this. You can go as low or as high as you want. Try to push yourself to go as high as you can. But right now where we're at, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So we can go hang. And the other thing with this is you'll notice I did this until I am completely and totally out of air. That is really, really important with this and all the other exercises I'm going to show you here in the rest of the video, that you are doing this until you are completely out of breath. And the reason why it's important is because there's a lot of fitness principles that correlate with singing principles, and doing an exercise till you're out of the breath is the singer's equivalent of how they kind of say in the gym, no pain, no gain, meaning that you got to push the muscle beyond its limit if you want to see some growth. Now, as singers, we shouldn't feel physical pain and like tension, like we shouldn't feel that. But if you're feeling the act of you pushing your breath till you're panning out of breath, that is the singer's form of no pain, no gain, to really, really make the muscle grow. And if you've not gotten the results you want in your singing, it's because whatever training you had in the past by your old vocal coach or these other YouTube videos you're out there watching, it never pushed you beyond your limits and never grew the muscle, and just, was just keeping the muscle in its comfort zone. All right. So the next resonance building exercise that we're going to do here, very similar to what we did before, but this one here is going to be the or basically making the kind of like Victor, like the V in Victor, like and really for this one, what you're going to be doing is, you see how I have the teeth showing. That part's really, really important, okay? So basically, we're going to be having the on a nice, simple little slide. That time I did just like a straight octave. Let's do another one here, and we'll do, an even wider range with which we're going. So like a And the important thing with this is you need to really feel that vibrational buzz. The same thing too with the hang, with all these here, you want to feel a vibrational energy, almost as if like the sensation of bees buzzing around in your mouth as you're doing the exercise. Because what this is doing is it's basically crafting the muscles, similar to in the gym, how you would develop like muscle tone to where you have a lot of shape in your muscles and develops that shape. we're developing specific shapes in our vocal muscles to enhance our resonance, to create the same type of shower environment where your voice easily sounds so great, but we're doing that in our own voices so we can do that in any environment. Okay? So let's try that again. And also, too, I want to point out with this, like your tongue should be just like in a nice neutral position as you're doing it, like a ah, you see there? Like right as I'm my tongue is just in that neutral position, and my teeth they're close together like this, and then I make my lips do the, but you really want those teeth showing because that's really key and really, really important for the exercise. Okay. So let's try one more here. Like I said, doing it until you are just totally and completely out of breath. Not a single thing left inside of you. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do here for our resonant building exercises is it is going to be the ang resonance building exercise. So this here, we're making the ang like angry sound, like ang, ang. And in this instance, tongue at the roof of the mouth, stuck there like peanut butter, just like in the earlier one we did with the hang. But we're going angry, angry, ang. And tip of the tongue also too, touching the back of the bottom teeth. Ang, ang. Okay, so now let's try some slides. Like I said, doesn't matter where you're starting them. Ang. All right. As you can see, I did that so I was totally out of air. And I'm telling you, it's like I'm making these comments here for these little tiny tweaks. And you might be thinking, oh, it's not that big a deal. I can, halfway do it. Like, I don't need to do it till I'm out of breath, or I don't need to really be peculiar about where my tongue is. Like no, these small micro tweaks make a major difference. Because do you know what the number one thing is? The absolute number one thing that separates an average singer from a top-notch celebrity level singer? Not much. There is not much that the absolute greats that you aspire to sing like are doing that you are doing. But it's these little teeny tiny tweaks that give you a massive leverage shift. In fact, people all know about Thomas Edison and, him creating the light bulb. He did over 1,000+ iterations of the light bulb. He did tweak after tweak after tweak before he finally found what that light bulb combination of materials is. And when he finally found what that 1,000th iteration was that actually got him the result, it was simply just putting bamboo inside of the filament of that light bulb. Now, imagine how many less iterations of a light bulb he probably would have had to make if he would have known from the get-go that, we just need a little bit of bamboo here in the filament of this, and it lasts way longer, the light's way brighter. And it's the same with singing, because when I was working and tweaking this stuff and struggling and not being all that great of a singer myself, and just being horrible at this. I would do iteration after iteration after iteration, all these different exercises, but it took me thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of trials and errors to find the little micro tweaks, these little micro tweaks that make the massive, massive difference inside of your singing. So anyone you see that's a natural at singing, or what I like to call a natural singer, Nancy, they're doing all of these micro tweaks, but they're just simply not recognizing it because it comes naturally to them. And when I was really struggling to learn the skill of singing, I would ask these better singers, hey, well, what are you doing? It's like, oh, no, just do this simple exercise, Isaiah, just relax. Oh, okay. But no, I did it and I didn't get the same result as you. And like, no, just relax. But the thing is, these natural singer Nancy's that, then later become a lot of what I like to call by the book Bertha vocal coaches, where they'll teach you an exercise. They say, well, hey, it worked for me and all my other students. Like, I get, you're just messed up. You're just doing something wrong. But they can never explain it to you because they don't break down all these micro tweaks. Because I was not good at this when I started. Like, I used to be so broken, busted, disgusted. My voice sounded horrible. It used to sound like this.
Now, can you hold me together? Can you love me down this far? Can you hold me together? 'Cause without you holding my heart, I'm falling apart.
But through the patience, consistency, and focusing on the not much tweaks, I was able to get my voice to start sounding like this.
Even with our differences, there's a place where we're all connected. Each of us can find each other's light. And made with every breath I breathe, I sing a simple melody, but I pray they'll hear more than a song in me.
So, one of the not much tweaks that we are now going to do here is we are still going to do our plain and simple little slides here, but we're going to incorporate what I call stacking on top of it, to where we're basically going to combine all three of these exercises into one to make a not much tweak that makes a massive, massive, massive difference. And it's going to look a little something like this. So we're basically going to go and doing that until we are just completely and totally out of air. And I'm so out of breath this time. It's taking me a little effort just to even be able to talk to you now. Okay. I went slowly through each and every single one of these motions. I went hang. And the other thing too is I didn't rush it. I didn't go hang low hang. I went hang. And you almost want to treat this like a meditation, to where you're slowly going through each and every single one of these, and then you go into the slide, because what this is doing is it's building more of that muscle tone and creating more of that shower-like resonance environment that's going to create more of that buttery smoothness inside of your voice. So let's get it to dry here again. And once again, do it in really any part of your range, any length of how it is you want to stretch. So 1, 2, 3. That was exhausting. Like I said, the more exhausted you are at the end of this, the more we're stretching the muscle and the more effective things are going to be. All right. So, who's ready to now get into another not much tweak that is going to make this even more effective? So, another thing that I've really learned over the years that can help to make this exercise a lot more effective, really any exercise you do significantly more effective, is by doing the exercise in what is known as your golden spot range. So basically, the golden spot, it's this concept that I learned from my old vocal coach that trained me in my younger days, a man by the name of Sean Morgan, who he had trained Katy Perry before she was famous. And I had just the immense blessing and privilege by the amazing grace of God to have started to take lessons with him. And one of the concepts that he explained to me is that essentially what your golden spot is it's a unique series of 7 notes, unique to everyone, just like their fingerprints. So mine are different from yours different from your mom, dad, brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, you name it. But when you find what those 7 notes are unique to you, they essentially become the teeny tiny domino that's going to knock down all the other bigger dominoes of your singing problems. And he'd explained to me, Isaiah, it's not a matter of what you do when you sing, but it's actually where you do it that gives you the greatest wins and the greatest gains. And so he had me find my golden spot. I would simply do basic exercises I would do before, things like just basic run-of-the-mill humming, or, little simple little sirens like this, but we would do them through my golden spot range. And my voice just went up leaps and bounds really through implementing this. So we're now going to work on showing you how to find your unique golden spot range, and then we're now going to do the exercise in your specific golden spot range. So, first step to finding where your unique golden spot is you're just going to take on the piano here, starting at any random note, doesn't matter, just whatever you feel is comfortable for you to sing on. You're just going to find any random note that's comfortable. We're going to start on a nice simple little la. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep going one note at a time, higher and higher and higher on that plain and simple little la until we find a break, a crack, a strain, or a shift that we feel inside of our voices. And when you feel that break, crack, shift, or strain inside of your voice, that's going to be an indicator of where your golden spot is. Now, I want to be very, very clear. For some people, that little break, crack, shift, or strain is going to be very, very subtle, extremely subtle. Even if you feel like a 1% break, a 1% shift, crack, or strain, still take note of it because it's going to be where the center of that golden spot's going to be. Okay, so let's give this a try. So count of 3. 1, 2, 3. La, 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 la. And we'll say for the purpose of our example that this note here is right where I start to feel the break, crack, and strain. So, what we're now going to do is we are going to just simply count down 7 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that 7 count includes the note that we landed on within that 7. And that brings us here to an E. And this here is basically the beginning of our golden spot range. But now that we have found where this golden spot range begins, we now simply need to find where this range ends. So what we're simply going to do is we're going to take that original starting note, and now we're going to count up 7 notes. It's going to look like so, including the one we started on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this brings us to another E, just the octave above. So we have just identified our unique and specific golden spot range. So the significance of what we just found here is this. So if, let's say, someone held a gun to your head and said, hey, you got 24 hours to audition for America's Got Talent and win. Otherwise, I'm pulling the trigger. The absolute best use of your 24 hours to save your life is to work on all the notes in between this specific range. So pause the video, go back, rewind, follow those same steps to diagnose where your unique golden spot is going to be, and really start working in this range. So what we're now going to do is we are now going to go back, do that same little exercise we did before on the slide, but this time we're going to do it specifically through our golden spot range. And it's going to look like so. So count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. I'm so out of breath at the end of that one. And with my few last breaths I have in me, if you've been liking the video, just be sure to like, comment, subscribe, because it definitely helps out the channel. So I know this seems simple. It seems like craziness. When I was first learning this stuff, I was thinking, there is no way that just doing the same little octave slides in this area is going to make a difference. And when I was working with my old coach, Sean, he had me doing this for 6 months straight. That was basically all we were doing, just octave slides, just through my golden spot. So basic. But when I implement it and I practice it, it didn't just make my voice start sounding great. I just didn't start having killer performances. Like, I actually started getting standing ovation level performances from practicing this stuff. In fact, here's what some of my students had to say after they had found, implemented, and worked on their golden spot and were just doing plain, simple little slides, just like what you're seeing here.
When I see other YouTube videos, it's like I don't even have to do them now because I just do the golden spot, and I just feel like I'm wasting less time. That's what it feels like. Like doing your stuff, it's like I'm getting to my goals more quickly.
And it also just seems so much more effortless. I remember when I first started singing this song years ago, I worked on the song for like a year with my voice coach. We would meet 2 times a week. And pretty much I felt like we really didn't progress that much at all. Isn't that wild? You and I worked together for like, on this song, what, 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
I just feel like it's so much easier to sing, and I definitely feel a lot more confident singing it, and I just feel like I'm more in love with it now, the song.
You with these exercises, you really make us feel like superheroes, man. When we, when there's a night and day difference in these things. So thank you for that.
It just makes me think how much time people are wasting with those exercises, and so many teachers teach that stuff. You kind of think, well, that's the way you do it. So yeah, I'm really glad I found you.
By the way, if you've been loving this video and want to go even deeper on this concept of the golden spot, plus also learn how to use it to avoid the 3 biggest mistakes that get in the way of so many different singers, be sure to click the link in the description and check out my free training called The 3 Biggest Singing Mistakes Holding Back the Songs You Write, the gigs you perform, and the albums you attempt to record. This has helped out so many of my students, and it is absolutely going to help you to get the breakthroughs you've always longed for. Now, I do want to preface that this training is not meant for just anybody. It's not really meant for your casual, typical singer that's trying to just, oh, I want to sing karaoke night for fun. Like, it's truly meant for the folks that they see singing as not just a fun hobby, but an actual calling, that they're really looking to get to the next level. They're looking to impact people with their music and, potentially even turn singing into a career one day. If that's you, you are absolutely going to adore this training, and it is going to get you so many results like it has for all of my other countless students. All right, so let's continue. Let's do ourselves some more simple little resonance building exercises with some simple little octave slides through our golden spot area. Yep. And also, I do want to preface with this that obviously, as you're watching me do this, I'm doing this through my specific golden spot area that we identified. But, for everyone, it's going to be a little different. So when you're playing this, you're going to do it through your specific golden spot range. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, man. Wow. Okay, so the other things I want to point about that round there. I'm once again very out of breath. But also, you'll notice as I transition between all those different sounds, you couldn't really quite tell where the hung sound ended, the vuv sound began, and the ang sound was about to start. It was like a thief in the night, smoothly passing from phase to phase to phase of this. That's really another one of those not much tweaks that is really going to help you to get these gains. Because the thing is, like I said, those natural singer Nancy's that eventually become what we call our by the book Bertha vocal coaches that teach you a method that you try and get you little to no results. They don't emphasize these small micro little tweaks. And it's never the major leaps. It's always the basic fundamentals that are off, that are keeping you from getting those gains and those wins that you truly wish that you had. So let's do this one more time. Focusing on the smoothness, focusing on the doing it until we are totally out of breath. Okay. All right. So, man, I'm so tired, out of breath. Whew. And like I said, the more out of breath you're doing it, the even better that result is going to be. I know I'm sounding repetitive, but it's important. It is extremely important. Because there's a saying one of my mentors really says is, he says, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And really, when I work with my students, be they the complete beginners, or be they, the students that are doing this professionally, gigging, touring, selling out arenas, It's me going extremely, extremely deep on, okay, hey, I'm reminding you this other thing you forgot. Oh, no, remember to do this, remember to do that. Really, really narrowing down on those microscopic, minuscule, incremental parts. So, we'll do one more here. And pay close attention, nice and smooth, until we're out of breath. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, man. Whew. Oh man, I was so tired from that round. Another thing I want to share. So regarding the out of breathness with this, you can literally make a mistake on almost everything else it is that I told you. But as long as you're doing it till you're out of breath, you're still going to get results. In fact, I had a student of mine that he had watched some of my free YouTube content. He had worked on this exercise. He'd implemented it. And when he reached out to me for lessons, he's like, Isaiah, your stuff is so amazing. I added like is about 3 or 4 notes to my range just by implementing this exercise, just off of like the free content. I'm like, dude, this is phenomenal. I'm like, awesome. Okay, let's hear you do the exercise right now in front of me. And when I saw him do it, I'm like, bro, you messed up like 95% of the exercise. You did almost every conceivable thing wrong with it. But the one thing he did right was he did it till he was totally out of breath every single time. Every single time. And I've actually lost count the amount of times that that story or something very similar has repeated itself. So really, truly, do not forget these basics. Do not forget these fundamentals. All right, so that wraps things up for today's training. So once again, be sure to check out that free bonus training on really how to fix those big singing mistakes and go even deeper on this concept of the golden spot. It is so, so beneficial. It's going to help you with so many different things. Also, as well, too, be sure to check out this other video of mine to where I go over how to truly master belting and specifically mixing in your belt voice.